It is time. Okay, so we are coming from what would have been a very close matchup, but now that, yeah, Shark just gets DQ'd from that, we are going to go into, yeah, Jayden is definitely in the advantage here, but Doremy does have the ability to make this a difficult match.
Yeah, you hate to see the DQ, but looking at this matchup, of course, Jayden's going to be looking for that run back, and Doremy is going to look to get there as well. So we're going to see the 6-3 from both players, truly a classic TEC maneuver, and Jayden's going to fix that well dependency and find a very nice donation.
Yeah, Jayden was very clean stacking to start this out. Doremy as well setting up this fractal.
Yeah, Jayden... Oh. Few misdrops here, but she is going to make it through that, and Doremy's going to be starting their zone, finding that T-spin into Tetris.
Ooh, the OP's there, definitely, yeah, not helping the zone continuation for Doremy, as he is going to have to find a little bit of pressure outside of zone. Love that.
That is still going to be 62 ulti. And Jayden's going to find their 6-3 immediately. Doremy not too far behind in the pacing. Gonna be trying to find these T-spins. Has the count to 4, looking for the eyepiece. Finds it. Already fixing the high dependencies as well. Ooh, unfortunately they misdrop as I'm saying that I need to just keep my mouth shut. But then they immediately open the well once again. Jayden is still in that 6-3, finding the column 7 garbage as well. Both players on max. We did see a zoneless transition from Jayden. And she's gonna find a fractal and let it rip as well. We're gonna see a simul zone, so it's a potential kill shot if anybody's lacking in efficiency here. So we're gonna be forced to go for max damage.
Yeah, and Doremy did find a very nice zone here, but maybe could have benefited from having more time and is going to be on the back foot as Jayden does send a little bit of pressure on her zone exit.
And Doremy is going to be trapped in an 8-1, just going to go ahead and skim out of there, find a nice 4 combo down stack. And Jayden is still trying to 6-3 on top of the garbage because they notice that Doremy is in an unfavorable position, and if they have an efficient enough attack, they might be able to close it out, but Doremy was ready for it.
Yeah, and 6-3ing on top of the garbage is definitely the move if you're Jayden and you know you have the speed advantage in that matchup. Just being able to spam attack is your best friend when you are trying to close out a round that you have the advantage in.
Yeah, survival isn't enough when you comes to these kinds of games. You need to find that kill shot, and you have to take risks like that, and Jayden's going to be finding 15 lines there. And Doremy does see the zone chunks, but it's still going to be pretty rough down stack. Gonna keep the well open, but didn't really have the T-piece for the setup they wanted to go for there. Gonna find some count to 4s to keep efficiency, but Jayden is right back in 6-3, so another scary situation if you're Doremy, but they've made it out of here time and time again.
Yeah, and like we mentioned, this is a very storied matchup. These players are used to playing each other and very comfortable in this matchup, so I'm not surprised that Doremy is able to take the risks that he is, but also not surprised that Jayden is playing with the confidence that she is.
Yeah, pretty confident in the higher ends of the board as well. We saw Doremy taking a lot of risks there, but they definitely know their IRS spawns. They know what they can get away with and what they can't, and they do have a quarter. They're going to be looking to zone now. They have some overcharge in the bank, so depending on how many lines they clear here, they might be able to get another zone to try and mitigate all the damage that Jayden just sent to them.
Yeah, able to tank another garbage chunk before going to the zone, but this is just the game of zones right here. The quarter zone, back to back as Jayden is trying to close this out.
And Doremy recognized they weren't allowed to take the TSD there, taking the TSS to keep the well open and try and find some more skims in order to get their zone. And they had just enough overcharge to get another quarter. They see the light of day on their attack, but will he make it? It's going to be tough because Jayden's going to try and find that kill shot, sending the 3/4, making a very quick 43 for Doremy to deal with only 1/4 in the bank.
Yeah, and that is a lot of garbage on Doremy's board. It's going to be a lot to work through if he is able to, but this is such a difficult situation as Jayden is trying to make sure that Doremy has no way out of this.
Yeah, Doremy did use that quarter. It might be the end for their overcharge. Gonna find that O-piece double. Gonna find a nice downsec as well. They see the zone chunks, but Jayden has been out of zone for so long. That post pressure has to be looking pretty insane by now. And Doremy has a mini side ties, looking to find that T-spin. Still don't see the light of day. It's looking pretty scary. Jayden's still in 6-3.
Yeah, and honestly, it feels like Doremy is just delaying his own death here. Unless Jayden makes a huge mistake, this should be the end of the round, just knowing how much damage is on Doremy's board right now.
Definitely another testament to how hard it is to close out games. Like, Jayden has been in advantage for so long, but Doremy's survival is just proving so effective right now.
Yeah, and if you're Jayden, you know that you cannot let your foot off the gas here. You have to continue trying to put damage forth just in case, although I don't really see Doremy finding a way out of this. Another quarter zone. I mean, you're not going to be able to find that much from this, right?
Yeah, at least 2 full zones ahead Jayden is right now. I would not be surprised if that's like 100 damage in Doremy's Q by then, but that is a very amazing display of survival abilities and very hard fought round by Jayden there.
Yeah, I'm like genuinely 100 damage. Like, that's not an exaggeration. Like, I'm genuinely pretty sure there was over 100 damage in that Q.
And Doremy is going to find the PC. Jayden is not worried about it, just going to continue the 6-3 on top of their stack, looking for a good count time to break. And Doremy finds the forecast and the well upgrade. Gonna go ahead and get that count to 4 as well, starting their zone pretty efficiently, getting another count to 4. Doremy's just showing a masterclass in 8-1 stacking right now, and they didn't break back-to-back for the whole 8-1. That is a very impressive feat. Honestly, and they are going to find this ulti.
8-1 is underrated in my opinion. I think that it's an easier stacking method to work with than many people say, but there is a lot of garbage on Jayden's board, but that is pretty clean. She's a little bit at the top here, but she does have that quarter zone. She is going to be able to find her way out.
And she did find that T-spin in order to buffer Doremy's impending damage here, which was probably a requirement, because otherwise they might have been forced to just go ahead and zone from the lack of canceling. But Jayden does have the zone pacing advantage, Doremy not too far behind, and Jayden's going to let it rip first. We are not going to see zoneless transitions in this round.
Yeah, and Jayden does have some pretty clean stacking here in this zone. Very efficient, taking a little bit of time to pause, ending that zone early.
38 is looking pretty low for this matchup. Doremy might have a window in order to take advantage here. Gonna have an overstack, but Doremy tried to do something a little bit too greedy, just didn't have the T-piece when they need it, and that's gonna give Jayden the window that she needs to return her advantage.
Yeah,
Jayden also has PC parity.
Jayden had some great post-zone pressure there that did play a huge part in putting that much damage onto Doremy's board to start off that phase 3, and he is just continuing to capitalize on it with a bit of a side ties. I was wondering if she was going to bring that into a C-spin or not. Oh.
Yeah, I think she literally had like 4 different options that she was thinking about after that misdrop. Gonna find an Imperial Cross here as well. Doremy is at max zone. It's gonna be pretty tough to make it through all this garbage being forced to zone this high. So Jayden once again, especially
stacking
with
a DTC spin.
But that eyepiece misdrop is gonna be.
Is she gonna turn that into a Trinity? No, she's not. Okay, good. That's a smart
I don't think there was a Trinity there, but it was pretty close.
Yeah. I've never set one up. I wouldn't actually know. But so Jayden is zoning here.
Jayden finding some really nice donations and trying to find that final T-spin, but just wasn't able to spawn that last piece in time. Doremy does see the light of day on their garbage, so depending on how much post pressure Jayden has here, Doremy might be able to take advantage.
Yeah, but Jayden knows that the name of the game here is pressure, and she is able to deliver there, as Doremy does have some good IRS to stay alive. Jayden is just trying to do everything she can to finish this out.
Yeah, we're going to see Jayden doing that classic 6-3 over the garbage. As I'm saying that, she escapes and finds another count to 4 to maintain back-to-back. Gonna find another C-spin on top of that. Ends up wasting T and still finds 2 Ts in the queue, but didn't even need it because their pressure was just too great, and Doremy's going to end up topping out.
Yeah, Jayden very dominant in these first 2 points so far. I wouldn't be surprised if she continues this momentum, but Doremy, being the player he is going to try to disrupt that.
Yeah, very interesting point from chat as well. When it comes to the quarter zone, like, sometimes it really just does feel like your opponent is immortal when you're trying to get out of there and secure that kill. And Jayden looked for a float, but a little bit miscalculating on the difference there.
Yeah, Jayden has a misdrop that she's going to be able to fix pretty well, maybe going to delay her zone a little bit, but here she is starting it off, breaking back-to-back, so we're going to see speed prioritized over efficiency a little bit here from Jayden's zone, as Doremy is going to probably have to zone from the bottom.
And Jayden is going to recover that efficiency by clearing an ulti, but Doremy is doing what Doremy does best, and we're going to see another float. A little bit greedy because they're going to be forced to waste T, going to end up breaking back-to-back, so this might be what Jayden needs, especially if Jayden's going to be able to maintain this pacing on the stack. But those misdrops and those miss sequences is going to give Doremy some opportunity to deal with the amount of cascading pressure that Jayden has available to them right now.
Yeah, Doremy does put Jayden in a slightly uncomfortable situation, but she has so much clean down stack to work through that it turns into a disadvantage for Doremy.
Yeah, especially when Jayden has the entire zone to work with. If it actually transitions from here, then it might be bad news for Doremy. Actually, never mind, because Doremy is also a really fast player. Gonna find that max before it happens. And it actually doesn't even transition, but Jayden just didn't want to take any chances and starts up that zone, builds up the Shichiku chain.
Yeah, and Doremy is going for these Kaidans on the side, finding that efficiency, going for the ulti. Great ulti find there from Doremy. Jayden is just going to whoa, that's so clean.
Oh my gosh.
Such a clean zone received in phase 3 for Jayden. That is unheard of.
Yeah, not often you'll see that in the phase 3, but Jayden has a max zone right now. She's gonna find the count, let it rip as soon as she can. Doremy's gonna be going for pure efficiency in order to offset the amount of damage they're about to receive. We are gonna see a side 3-wide. Not often you see a side 3-wide, but desperate times come for desperate message.
Yeah, sometimes that's all you can do is that combo down stack, and Jayden has a 2 high TST tower into C-spin on her board.
Truly some of the setups of all time. Gonna be doing a lot here, and Doremy's gonna find the count that they need. Jayden's trying to keep the height difference even on the 2-7 stack. Gonna even set up an STSD when they know they're not able to. Doremy's in a very rough spot, not able to send the T-spin because they're just too high in their board.
Yeah, Doremy again working through this down stack as Jayden is trying to close out. We've been in the exact same spot in all 3 of these rounds. Jayden has converted the first 2 out of 3 because that is what she's confident on. She's going to continue that confident gameplay, working through this. Really, this is such a good zone.
Jayden. And they have a nice overstack, able to find 50 and 19. Gonna be tough for Doremy, who doesn't have a full zone, so they might need a second one to mitigate everything that Jayden just sent. They do see the zone chunks, but it's looking a little bit far. Only able to cancel 17. Finds another quarter, but Jayden's post pressure is gonna be a little scary.
Yeah, and that is a giant garbage queue impending on Doremy's board, and Jayden is going to continue this lead.
Yeah, Doremy had some very ridiculous setups there, but it's just not enough against Jayden's pure efficient pressure. And we are going to see a C-spin opener from Doremy.
Yeah, this isn't the first time he's done MS2 in this matchup. He is a fan of these kinds of openers. I think it's a PPT thing, like a comfort thing in PPT, if you ask me.
Definitely makes sense because in PPT, C-spins are like undisputed the best openers in that game, so it is very interesting to see how that translates into PEC. And those misdrops from Jayden's board is going to give Doremy a very nice opportunity. Not going to actually take that zone in order to pressure Jayden into doing something that they aren't ready for. Going to set up that DT cannon for the zone start, gets both T pieces when they need it, has the I piece in the queue as well to access the well.
Yeah, that's a great zone start from Doremy. This is going to be fast and this is going to be efficient, but that, ooh, the Z-spin into there was actually so cool. I love that. And Jayden is forced to not take that STSD, and that's the round. Doremy is on the board here.
That Z-spin was actually the difference between killing and not killing. So what a find from Doremy, what a misdrop conversion, and that's going to put him on the board.
Yeah, and another MS2 from Doremy.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
True, so true.
Jayden is going to keep these T-spins up in the 6-3, setting up a lot of S-props as well. And Doremy's going to look for the TST, realize it's not really possible with the incoming damage, would rather just maintain the well that they already have. Definitely the safer play. And that T-piece misdrop's going to make their cycle suffer a little bit.
Ooh, oh, and the Z misdrop is, yeah, they almost had the save, but the Z misdrop just makes that nearly impossible.
And Jayden has a golden opportunity here to take advantage and maybe even find a kill depending on how insane this zone ends up being. They're looking for lines, spawns the eyepiece.
Yeah, this is the last match of the night, so it's not like Jayden's worrying about stamina for a future match, but I'm sure that she does want this over sooner. Is trying to close this
showing their all-spin knowledge here in order to find these survivals. The fact that they were allowed to tank all of that is insane.
Yeah, and that is what happens in this phase 1, phase 2. You do have that ability to tank, and it is just so easy to use that stack to your advantage.
Doremy was looking for the overstack there, but they're going to be hard stuck to 17 lines. Still going to be sending 53, which is pretty formidable if you're Jayden trying to fight that, but she does see the zone chunk, so it's going to be a pretty good opportunity here for her to take advantage as well. Gonna find that very high T-spin, and that's a 63 ulti on transition. Doremy has a donated T-spin triple.
Yeah, that was a weird setup from Doremy, not able to find the efficiency that he needed there, and that is going to give Jayden her 4th point.
Yeah, very efficient play from Doremy, but Jayden is still playing 20 APM higher.
Yeah, and that's what Jayden knows that she has the advantage of in this matchup.
Yeah, when you're that much faster, you do have access to more options, and of course, more speed usually translates to just more attack in the long run, especially if you're able to maintain advantage. But Doremy has the column 7 garbage, so this is definitely a good opportunity for them to cascade this advantage into future phases.
Yeah, Doremy was forced to play at the top there, even with the favorable garbage, but he is getting back down into that now where he can start using that as part of his stack, and he's going to start that zone with that assisting him.
And Jayden's going to set up a fractal to start their zone, so very efficient starts from both players. Looks like Jayden's probably going to end up breaking here if they can't find a count. Yep. So Doremy's going to have the efficiency advantage, but Jayden looks like they might find more lines. No, 18 for both, but Doremy going to receive some clean here.
Yeah, and we are looking towards this phase 3. Jayden closer. Both players with a half zone here, probably going to see a zone with a transition.
Jayden does like to do those partial zones, so I wouldn't be surprised if I saw one of those if she has a good opportunity to do so, if she has a forward state that actually allows that to work out. Oh, we do see both players end up getting max. They have options available to them. What are they going to do?
Yeah, I've noticed that Jayden is a fan of having a zoneless transition. I think she knows that because she's generally faster than her opponent, it puts her at an advantage if there is a zoneless transition.
Definitely well said. That speed is definitely something to take note of. If you're that much faster, then once again, you have access to more options, and being able to leverage those options and limit your opponent is what is going to translate to kills.
Yeah, and we are into this phase 3 here as Doremy does misdrop over the well, having an eye spin into that Tetris, but that is going to leave him in a less favorable position. These are some pretty good T-spins to clean up this board, but Jayden is just trying to push Doremy up higher and doing a very good job of it so far.
Yeah, Doremy had a board state that didn't look like they had too much sustain, but the amount of setup knowledge that they have in order to still cancel what Jayden was trying to send over is truly insane. I think Jayden was going for a PC there, but they just didn't have the parity that they needed.
Doremy flexing some all spins knowledge right here, and he does have a color clear right at the top of the board. Too bad that doesn't do anything. And he is going to be on this down stack as Jayden is just continuing to try to kill, and it is this constant uphill battle that Jayden has to fight until Doremy does not have the correct cycle of the quarter zones to live.
And Doremy, once again, finding some very interesting setups. Like, we're going to see that knowledge go crazy. Doremy is definitely one of the players that are known for very unstandard setups, and Jayden is going to keep that advantage, keep sending more and more pressure over to Doremy's side, and this cut copy is going to give her more chances. She's going to find the tank and try and push Doremy into an unfavorable situation, and it is going to force them to zone.
Jayden with an STSD at the ready here to try to continue this pressure, and that is a pretty large chunk on a Doremy's board. He is able to accept it because of the down stack he was able to create. There is another quarter zone here. So far surviving, but this is an uphill battle.
Definitely well said. And oh my gosh, a row from living and dying, but there's 0 overcharge. But with Jayden starting the zone, Doremy might actually have time to escape from here.
Jayden with the 2 high TST into C-spin tower right here, just trying to find the efficiency, trying to close this out here. Not an easy task as Doremy does have another quarter zone to just stay alive even longer, forcing Jayden to continue putting up that pressure.
Yeah, 28 is pretty low coming from Jayden, but that might just be what she needs. It might be enough to top out Doremy when they're in these unfavorable situations, not able to actually set up the donations that they want. And yeah, that misdrop's gonna finish it. Jayden's gonna take another point.
Yeah, Jayden in this 5-1, just 2 points away from taking this game. And these are some very long rounds we're seeing so far.
Yes, they are. But more and more risks are being taken by these players, as we can see, so wouldn't be surprised if we see them start to shorten. And we're gonna see Jayden pretty much doing the column 7 ST. Always a swag thing to see. And I think Doremy's just gonna do some more counting here, and oh my gosh, the way they fix that height difference, so pretty.
Yeah, that was really pretty, and Doremy is the first person to start zone here. Jayden, don't know what she was really going for there. That might have been a miss.
Yeah, she had a misdrop and turned it into an STSD.
Okay, that's gorgeous. I love that. Jayden looked like she was PC fishing there, not finding it. Don't entirely know though, because Jayden is the mastermind and I am simply the observer. All right, so we are at that 40,000-ish mark for both players.
And Doremy is going to find, oh my gosh, the counting to recognize they had the forecast after 2 triple clears is insane from Doremy. And Jayden looks like they're going to transition it soon, so Doremy has to decide if they want to zone or not, because they do know that Jayden is one that likes to do some zoneless transitions, and with that clean on their board, now's a pretty good time, and they're going to let it rip.
Yeah, so Doremy had an awkward situation where he could not take either of the T-spins that he set up. One of them he took an all spins out to and then seemed to think that he had the T-spin, but he didn't, and the other he just didn't have the pieces for it. And what I'm trying to say is he did not find the efficiency from that zone he needed, and that's going to put him in a tough situation right here.
Yeah, very unfortunate. That was a 20 attack difference between those two zones, which is going to give Jayden a very comfortable advantage, but she is going to... Never mind, that is not a misdrop. That is a TSS forecast at the full bottom of the board from Jayden.
Yeah, sometimes you think, oh, this player messed up, and you look and you're like, nope, that was entirely intentional. I just have the IQ of a walnut, and this player does not. And so we have both players at a very similar spot on their board here, both trying to find an advantage, and Doremy is being pushed up pretty high, forced to zone here.
That is only going to be 3/4, so those bonus lines are going to be pretty lacking, but that is still 23, and if Jayden isn't able to use all their material, then it might be enough to at least survive. They find the zone chunk, so it does look livable, especially if they're going to keep finding these counts, and they're very low on the board, so they're going to be allowed to tank a lot, but that is look like more than 20 lines in the queue, so it is a kill threat. Sets up a T-spin, isn't able to get it in time, going to be forced to zone. Does get the T-piece in zone though, so it's going to do a very nice job of canceling, but Jayden is just going to set up more and more counting, more and more efficiency. I think she was looking for an SCSD there, gets a 1 in 10 through the self-cheese, but she is going to make it to match point and end up on Brazil pace.
Absolutely, Brazil pace ready to go here. Some very good stats from both players, but yeah, Doremy the 3-piece spam in the middle for the TKI. I love it when you can start like that.
Gotta love the good opening bags. Jayden's gonna continue the 6-3. Looking for a good opportunity to break. That donation is definitely gonna be it. Doremy once again showing how good they are at fixing these height dependencies. And we are gonna see Doremy fire first this time. And Jayden looks like they're going to be just speed running through this zone. Oh, that is a very greedy STSD. They're not going to find the T-pieces in time, so it's going to limit their attack. Actually going to be forced to break their STSD as well. Never mind. They
finding it. Yeah, that's insane. Insane. Yeah, Jayden having the 2 O pieces at the top of zone there. That is the last piece you want in your hold when you are... Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. Is that a BT? What is that setup?
I don't even, like, yeah, I don't know. So...
But yeah, Doremy looks like they have advantage here. So depending on how well they can leverage this, especially when they have the opportunity to do a zone transition. Doremy is known for having pretty efficient zones, and they might be able to compound that. And that's going to be a C-spin in zone from
Nice C-spin. Such a clean C-spin there from Jayden, taking the TSS to go for the cleaner board state, and I love this.
Jayden's going to be looking for that ulti clear. And with the IHS, they're going to find a 64 ulti. Pretty scary if you're Doremy, but I think their zone has been efficient enough to... Oh my gosh, for a moment there, I thought they weren't going to end up finding that ulti, but that is going to be 61, and it's going to neutralize a majority of what Jayden had sent over.
Yeah, very nice zone, very nice start to phase 3 from both sides. Jayden setting up this fractal to try to put forth some pressure onto Doremy's board. Doremy is able to cancel a lot of his, setting up this TST to try to volley back some own pressure there.
Definitely, and Jayden is doing some very interesting setups as well. Looks like the rules are starting to be reversed. Jayden is going to be showing her skills of fixing these high dependencies and finding these setups. Makes it all the way down to the bottom of the board, which gives her the opportunity to start the 6-3 over their garbage that they like to favor so well. And she's just going to start that full zone right now while she has space. Thinking about the STSD, goes for it, decides to skim out of the second one because she just doesn't have enough T-pieces.
That's a nice 43. Jayden setting up a side forward here to try to mitigate whatever comes in from Doremy, but this is not going to be the highest clear from his side. Honestly, this is really good.
This doesn't look like mitigation. This looks like a kill attempt. Hold on a second.
That was a great zone from Doremy, but I do think Jayden is going to find what she needs in this side ties here.
Yeah, they did get a very high stack on that side tie, so pretty much whatever Doremy was going to send there, Jayden was going to cancel and eclipse that damage. So depending on how well Doremy is able to find these efficient clears, Jayden might be in a pretty nice advantage.
Yeah, Doremy doing some cute little all spins knowledge over there, but that does not send any attack here. And so Doremy is still going to be pushed up at that top of the board, full zone, but does not have the space to use it. Kind of has the space right now, going to start it.
Yeah, recognizing when you do and don't have that space, definitely going to be very important. Gonna find that T-spin at the bottom of their combo, and depending on how much material Jayden is allowed to access right now, it could spell doom for Doremy. Never mind, look how much Doremy was able to cancel there. Tries to set up an STSD, realizes they can't when Jayden sends him more pressure, and that is a DT cannon, DT C-spin on Jayden's side right now.
From Jayden, and that is absolutely clinical, and that is going to force Doremy to zone here, and this is Jayden trying to clear this out, trying to finish it up, this combo down stack, trying to put on that pressure, but Doremy finds a combo down stack of his own and is able to work through the pressure that Jayden's trying to add right now.
Definitely, but Jayden does have a TST, so they're going to mitigate a lot of what Doremy's trying to combo. Jayden's thinking about setting up a cut copy. Doesn't really have the row difference there in order to set up the cut copy, but still ends up getting one of the T-spins, able to mitigate what Doremy's sending. But then Doremy has another TST in the back pocket for Jayden to deal with. But Jayden has a full
max zone. Yeah, no, I'm so excited to see what Jayden does with the zone.
This is going to be another game-changing zone interaction. We're going to see who fires it first. It's probably going to be Doremy because they have a nice 7-2 stack here. And there we have it.
Yeah, Doremy going for the aggressive move here, and I do think that is the play if you want to win this matchup here. Finding an ulti. 57 ulti!
In phase 3, that's pretty nice, especially when Jayden has this much shields on their board. She's going to have to suffer on the efficiency department. Finds a really nice downside that I think mitigates everything I said.
Amazing ulti! Like, so well played from both sides there that brings that back to even.
Yeah, once you're, like, more comfortable with IRS, most of the time you're going to be holding it the entire time, but recognizing you need to let go in order to find the single I-flat solve is such an important thing for Jayden to do there. And even with Doremy's DT that they have, Jayden has enough sustain on their board to where they're going to be allowed to live this.
Yeah, Doremy with this combo down stack here, he does misplace that Z piece, turns it into a TST that makes me look like I don't know what I'm talking about, but I swear that was a misdrop, believe me. All right, Jayden at the top of the zone, looks like she just started that zone, all of a sudden it's a 17. 18.
Yeah, Jayden is known for those quick zones, but Doremy sees his zone chunks, not able to actually clear anything in zone, which might be a good thing in terms of their overcharge. Gonna clear more lines, maybe look for another quarter zone, but Jayden has more compounding pressure, and Doremy doesn't even see the zone chunks right now.
Yeah, Jayden just continuing to add to that queue. Doremy just has a much larger task ahead of him every single second he delays, and wow, there's almost nothing you can do here.
Yeah, delaying's definitely a good word to use there. That is, oh no! No more skims, and that is a Brazil for Jayden.
Yeah, Jayden does pick up the no sweep, but the Brazil there. I love that terminology. I'm going to continue using that in all 1st to 7 situations. Thank you. I'd never even thought of that before. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, this is where too much Rocket League gets you.
Mm-hmm.
But that is going to be Jayden moving on.